Standing by. In Studio 5, the crew are quietly getting on with what they do after arriving at Hutton and before they have to don their dinner jackets and cocktail dresses to read the news. It's a relaxed feeling. A miasma hangs in the middle of the room, which once would have been from various herbs that they acquired from around the galaxy. But in these more health-conscious times, it is, we're sorry to say, from a bout of intestinal distress, left as a parting gift by Dead Meat GF, who popped in for some gossip. An amber warning light illuminates, and so the crew pack away their knickknacks. Rudolph closes his book of 1001 really nasty tongue twisters, making sure to mark his place. Harry Balzac puts away one of his innuendos. Wancare puts the lid back on his moustache wax, extra villainous quality. Wilma carelessly tosses a throwing knife she's been sharpening across the room, where it stops with a shudder as it buries itself in the woodwork. And Norma puts away her gun cleaning kit, remembering to engage the safety before handing it to Flossy. The crew sit up as straight as their tired bones will allow. The amber light is replaced by a red one. And the authoritative timbre of a well-seasoned presenter utters these immortal words.
Our mics are live. Good evening and welcome once again to a busy studio as we attempt even to unscramble the news, decipher the sports results, nibble curiously on Galnet, fervently hope that Amelia has survived whatever encounter we've sent her on, and have a notepad ready for all the system names that Flossy's going to read out during her bit.
What? Oh, sorry. I wasn't paying any attention. I thought we just made this up as we went along.
No. You know what they say. Poor prior planning precipitates poor performance.
No, you're just taking the pee.
Talking of that, our guest will be back from Cubicle 3 any second. Where shall we put him?
There's the umbrella stand in the corner.
Why do we need umbrellas? We're in a station. In space.
Sprinkler system. On the blink as usual.
Ah, that makes sense. I've got another question though.
Do tell.
There's no gravity, so doesn't it just all blob up and float around?
Oh, I know this one. Is the answer Velcro?
No. Right. News. A wolf in ship's clothing.
Rampage did it. An incident report explains why.
In the penal colony.
Presents with no presents.
Thinking of drinking at LaveCon? You'll need hollow legs.
Please don't throw us in the briar patch.
Fargoids versus Guardians. We're out of their league.
Somebody's been a busy bee.
What have you been doing?
It has become apparent recently that certain pilots have been taking advantage of the unwritten rules of engagement when it comes to interactions with ne'er-do-wells, miscreants, and, to be blunt, we all know that carrying gold into the area around a compromised nav beacon is likely to gain the attention of many space buccaneers with their witty, if dreadfully repetitive, banter. Arriving at a res site with the odd art treasure, a few tons of platinum, or even just a solitary ton of Hutton mugs will attract pirates like flies to ships. Just minding your own business taking biowaste from system to system, will eventually come to the attention of depraved souls who will declare your onboard barrels of sterilised dung to be tasty cargo. So what's a commander to do in the face of such naked aggression? How can the owner of a Type 9 space cow go about their legitimate business without playing interdiction tango or listening to inane posturing from the robber classes? This is where the good guys are blurring the boundaries. They're doing something that frankly is the equivalent of a soldier taking off their uniform, thus risking being shot as a spy. The latest underground tactic in fighting back against the forces of lawlessness is in itself illegal. They're using bootleg Apex taxi paint jobs, since everyone knows that pirates are paid by protection money, often paid with protection money even, by Apex Interstellar Transport to allow their vehicles to pass unhindered. This has led to the unlikely sight of anacondas with a for hire sign near the huge hardpoint, sidewinders with roof racks for luggage, and belugas refusing to go south of the ecliptic at this time of night. But, as they say, what's sauce for the goose goes well with the other gamey meat. Smugglers have taken to using the Apex paint jobs as a way of sneaking past patrols. Commanders with enormous notoriety levels have hand-painted Apex on a piece of cloth they've taped to the front of their ships in an effort to get to starport services without being recognised. And even the dastardly Don has Taxi alla Pice stencilled on his solid gold Panther Clipper to avoid all of that tedious paperwork.
Hutton Orbital Mission After Action Incident Report. Date of incident 18th of June 3307. Location Bardwaj Mineralogical Territory in Barnard Star. Trainees were Commander Wotherspoon and Commander Beetlejude. Training officers were Commander Rampage 737 and Count Nugget. The objective was to clear out the scavengers and power the base. So, after a successful initial training mission with Commander Wotherspoon, Commander Rampage 737 was required to perform a collection mission, leaving Commander Count Nugget to take charge of the second mission with both trainees. The initial section was running to plan and on schedule, with Commander Wotherspoon utilising his previous training and effectively neutralising the scavengers near the power centre, with Beetlejude assisting, having pre-existing combat experience. Before moving to the mining area to clear the remaining scavengers, the power was restored, completing the training goal for Commander Beetlejude. Commander Count Nugget took the opportunity to scan Commander Beetlejude's profile to gain level 3 access and simplify the process of accessing buildings should the need arise. Unfortunately, having turned off flashlights to reduce the risk of detection, Commander Count Nugget failed to notice that she had unholstered the energy link instead of the profile analyzer, and on completion of the scan, a bolt of high-intensity electricity arced from the muzzle into the oblivious Commander Beetlejude, causing her to twitch violently, utter a particularly colourful expletive, and fall to the floor in a crumpled heap. While Commander Beetlejuice's training was complete and Commander Wotherspoon and Count Nugget did clear out the remaining scavengers, Commander Count Nugget would like to apologise for the untimely demise of a valued colleague and much-loved co-narrator of the fabulous Galnet News Digest. We can only apologise on behalf of our trainee commanders and say that all things considered, it was definitely Rampage's fault.
Commander Westthorpe, otherwise known as Joseph K., found himself in solitary this week, and oh boy was it solitary. After incurring one or two slight infractions, the hero of our story found himself incarcerated without the trial that you'd expect. So what? You might think. Pay the fine and get on your way. Now this is where it gets just a touch tricky. Commander Westthorpe, who we prefer to call Uncle Matt, had been outside the bubble in the pencil sector ELYD5 when he was picked up by the Fuzz. It just so happens that the nearest detention centre, appropriately called Pilgrim's Ruin, is in the HR 3005 system, which is not exactly on the main tourist route, consisting of 2 stars, the detention centre, and not a sausage else. I know what you're thinking. Stop blubbering and just get a taxi. A touch tricky because the only system within Apex transport range is Sinurf ENHD 1196, which is 13.7 light years away, and that system only has 2 outposts and no planetary settlements or ports. You're seeing the problem now. If you end up in the detention centre on foot, or with a ship whose jump range is less than 13.17 light years, you're stuck like a fly in a very distant piece of amber, stuck with no hope of escape unless someone with a very good telescope can interpret its messages sent in Morse code from your cell window when they get it at the earliest in a decade and a half. Luckily, Joseph K. had nothing but time on his hands and managed to construct a quantum entanglement signaler using nothing but some pieces of wire pulled from the bulkhead, some sticky black plastic, some empty washing up bottles, a Lady Pleaser 3000, some crystals, and a working quantum entanglement signaler that someone had left in his cell. ... went his message, thus demonstrating that he'd really should have attended more than one lesson at Morse code school. But luckily, it was enough. After a few days, his plaintive cry was picked up by the Pink Wafer, which was unaccountably cruising in the region, a likely story, and Commander Sally contacted the Pilots Federation to see what could be done. Even the Pilots Federation don't get a free pass when it comes to springing jailbirds, and so Commander Sally was forced to stump up the bail money, helped by several of her colleagues, unfortunately just about wiping out their credit balances, but plucky Sally got a lift to Pilgrim's Rest to pay the money in person. And so, with a single bound, Commander Westthorpe was free, and pausing only to tip his flight helmet briefly to salute to the rose-coloured recognizance remunerator, boarded the Pilots Federation shuttle to rejoin his ship, which had been towed to a nearby system. It was only afterwards that our commander remembered hearing, just as the airlock door was closing, a small pink voice asking, how do I get back now, guys? Guys!
Commanders have been wondering recently if some combination of time dilation, Die Hard and Groundhog Day has meant that it's Christmas every day. Commanders have been writing their letters to Santa many months in advance saying, "Dear Father Christmas, I've been very good and I've only got notoriety of 3. I've not smuggled any more than 3 black boxes and I've only shot at pirates. For Christmas, please can I have some heat sinks, some chaff, some shield cells and some more ammunition?" And then presumably vaporise the letter, since it's very difficult to fit a chimney in the cockpit of an Imperial Eagle. Whilst we don't hold with superstition, nor do we claim any belief in supernatural creatures, something has read those notes. Because galaxy-wide, when pilots are glued to their seats and the countdown starts at 4, 3, some ninja present donor sneaks on board, empties their sack. Well, we're presuming it's a he, no female will be stupid enough to come on board at such a dangerous point in time, and exits again before the ship enters supercruise. Pilots check their ship's status and find that their letter has been answered, and they're full, and this happens again and again and again. We're concerned that just being given things like that disturbs the natural order of things, and that commanders may soon just start to expect stuff to be given to them for doing absolutely nothing. No, not like arcs. Those are completely, totally different. As Cecil says, "To the heat sink fairy from me, Cecil. I'm really rather confused. I know I left the planet having ejected absolutely everything in my attempt to push the right button, but on reaching orbit, after a little visit to the little pilot's room, it was all back again. Except the gin. You forgot to put my gin back. Next time, if you're sneaking on board and putting things back where they weren't, but are now, would you mind awfully topping up the drinks cabinet too, please? Lots of love. Me.
Lave. Lovely Lave. Shining orange jewel in the heart of humanity's big bubble. Every year, the station commander and chums throw a big party. You know the kind, the sort of thing that was grand ambitions to educate, elucidate and inform, but degrades by some time mid-afternoon into a Lavian brandy drinking session and someone's pet field mouse challenging everyone to an arm wrestle, as in the case of one commander actually beating him. Usually an opportunity for pilots from across the galaxy to congregate and listen to the wise words, chapters 1 through 12, of Station Commander Stroud's latest epistle and marvel at the wonders being shown off by the Pilots Federation about what they're up to next. This year there's a problem. An alliance-shaped problem. They've taken exception in these trying times to so many pilots with so many allegiances arriving at Lave, which they still claim is theirs despite being relegated to the lower levels where the space rats nibble your bum. They're concerned about mods and lurgy, and space truckers with mods and lurgy, and Thargoids and AEMILIA terrorists. Possibly also cats, as we've heard they're allergic to them. So they've planned to park a number of Type 9s in the entrance to the station over the weekend of LaveCon and stop absolutely anyone entering the station. Not to be deterred, the pilots of the galaxy have come up with an idea. Hello LaveCon. Yes, and even you can attend from the comfort of your ship, SRV, abandoned settlement, faraway orbital, or even just from down a corridor at a socially distant but definitely non-embargo breaking distance. As is traditional, the Hutton truckers will be putting in an appearance, or at least our voices will, accompanied by luminaries from the Pilots Federation, trying desperately not to say anything controversial, but having a bit of a laugh, skirting round difficult subjects. There's bound to be a bit of retro. These days, retro means flared flight suits, high-collared dominated outfits, and of course wide-brimmed hats and cape accessories for your perfect maverick look. All rendered in 8-bit and with a catchy theme tune. Any pilots thinking of heading to Lave next weekend, that's next weekend, not this weekend. You know, the one that happens more than 7 days in the future. Then be prepared to send your very best Hollow-Me lookalike to take your seat. There are rumours that the team over at Spider-Man Systems have come up with a solution to the blockade. They've challenged the Alliance to a game of Lake-on Stick-em-up using a deck of cards, a couple of dice and some hastily salvaged counters robbed from a nearby settlement. We think there might be food kits for the staff.
It has often been said that trying to pin down a Hutton trucker is like trying to juggle jelly with oily hands. It looks like a good idea at the time, but after the first throw, there's this sense that things are about to get messy. The same is true of our political cooperative. Try to do something bad, and unexpected things happen. Now here at Hutton, we're not trying to take over the galaxy. That would be silly. A lot of hard work, and to be fair, we've got much more important things to do, like go out and sniff the space flowers on atmospheric worlds, and do odd things like try to walk around a planet non-stop without falling into a crevasse. As such, it has been noted that there are bad people out there, as mentioned in previous weeks, who are using crime as a way to attempt to hurt Hutton. They've lobbed their metaphorical jelly in the air and are looking up at it. But the jelly has its own ideas. The jelly wants to stay stable in influence, The jelly wants to float there nicely at about head height and not go splat. Here's a hint to Hutton's enemy, Boo. Lockdown isn't a bad thing. It means that for once, Hutton influence is actually moderately under control and not swinging around like a floor-mopping guy's mop after a particularly busy party. If only they'd do the bad things somewhere we want the bad things done, like Carcignari. More on that from Wonker in a bit.
Half-time. That bit between all the excitement where everyone gets to have a rest, break out the oranges, get an ice-cold water-filled sponge dabbed on the back of the neck, and take a breather before attempting to do better than the opposition for the next bit. If you're a night shift commander, you might even break it into quarters. And if you're a fan of grunting and smacking things really hard, maybe you go and have a sit down under an umbrella every few grunts and have a swig of water. Whatever the case is, humanity seems to love taking a break right in the middle of doing something important or difficult. And it seems that we're not alone in the galaxy on this one. Round 1 of the Thargoids vs Everyone Cup took place a long time ago. So long ago now that the spectator stands are now looking like the now sunken gladiatorial ruins over in Italy on old Earth. Just about the only thing left is the hot dog stand to one side. Everyone knows that the mystery meat is actually indestructible and the onions have been cooking for the last few millennia and are just a little charred. However, the scene is set. The Guardians have substituted humanity at half-time in the hopes that it will blindside Tharg the Mighty's minions. Humanity's planning a 4-4 for the mug formation, and it looks like no one knows who the manager is. But whoever it is, if we lose on penalties, it will definitely be their fault and not that of the players. We mean pilots. It's an away game for both sides, as it looks like the battle will be taking place on neutral territory. By neutral, we mean a place that hasn't yet been occupied by either side. But the Guardians, despite being awfully tired from the first half, have left their skimmers on the pitch. It should be noted, though, that they're prone to the own odd goal. Are you excited for the game of two halves to be entering the last two quarters? Will there be multiple touchdowns, 15 love and a tiebreak? Nobody knows, but we reckon the Pilots Federation have a master plan, and we can't wait to see what it is. Now, anyone got any good songs we can sing from the stands? How about a rousing rendition of THARG, he's our nasty enemy, and calls of Hermans, Hermans, and sticking silly little flags to the outside of your spaceship to declare your allegiance.
Exciting times in the Hutton BGS recently. We have a new record of 4 simultaneous states in 2 systems at the same time. The Deputy Chief Assistant Under-Editor won't let me bore you with the specifics, but it's a long time since we've seen both an outbreak and a lockdown. Why, it's almost like Sol in the early 21st century. It's been a busy time in the BGS world this week, with the continued lockdown in Alpha Centauri denying mugs and megagin to the galaxy, and it's time for concerted action to stop the crime wave. Isn't it a good job I hoarded several lifetimes' supply of mugs, gin, and of course bog roll aboard my fleet carrier? Ha! No best before dates on megagin. So now it's vintage. The medical outbreaks in Barnard Star and Alpha Centauri were quickly resolved, so well done to those marvellous merchants who moved mountains of meds. We still have a state of civil unrest in Barnard Star, so bounties are the order of the day, but prioritise the lifting of the lockdown in Alpha Centauri first. Rogue Sirius Corporation elements have been attempting to make up for their previous failure to snatch the closest system to Sol. Remember that time they lost 4-0 and ran away with their corporate tail between their legs? No? Well, you should, as it was only 3 weeks ago. Well, they've only gone and tried to take advantage of the lockdowns in our core systems and tried to pick on the tiny little hamlet system of none other than Avik. There was Mr. Avik, locking up his small family corner shop come post office come off licence for the night, putting out the space cat, and a pair of dodgy corporate megacorporation bruisers in red sweaters with stockings over their heads snuck up on him in the dark and whacked him over the head, gaining an instant 2-0 lead. Stunned, but being a fairly thick-skulled type, well-versed in the darker arts of on-foot combat, Mr. Avik shrugged off the blow and landed a few telling blows of his own in the binary planets department, and then went on to serve up a large steaming helping of what the night shift would call whoop-ass. Triumphant, he unmasked their stocking faces. Actually, it was a pair of tights that they hadn't bothered to separate, and told them they'd have got away with it if it weren't for the pesky cat. We're still not done with the adverse states this week, as we have double trouble in the Epsilons. Yes, Indy and Eridani have come down with an attack of the space lurgy and are both in outbreak. It's certainly time to be invested in pharmaceutical megacorporations, unless they're doing it at cost, of course. At the top end of the Hutton System League, well, it's not hard to spot, is it? 14% clear of the six-pack of overachievers, it's LP532-81 romping towards total system domination on 83%. Has someone been overdoing it in the Hebe City cash and carry again? You know you'll never eat all those pickled eggs. We're already in expansion from one of the other LPs, so one at a time, guys. One at a time. Meanwhile, in Colonia, Grand Moff Hankey asks that truckers fight for hot coal in the war in Pythias against the Colonia Cooperative, and that they ship power generators and water purifiers to Doler Depot in Tyr to get us out of the infrastructure failure. We still need to leave Hotel Carcinari where, we have another war, but we've got plenty to focus on in the core systems, so ignore it. Priorities this week are, if you want to truck something, truck meds by the truckload into the Epsilons to relieve the outbreaks. If you want to shoot something, and boy is there plenty to shoot at this week, turn in bounties in Alpha Centauri to lift the lockdown, and then in Barnard Star to end the civil unrest. And if you still have any railgun rounds left after that, Stein 2051 has developed a bit of a pirate problem. We still need to exit Carcinari, so leave it alone.
Time for an update on expeditions, missions and competitions organised by you, the Elite Dangerous community. Commander Mephisto has taken time out his busy day relaxing on the fleet carrier Khonsu as it ferries armchair explorers across all of the waypoints in the Canonn Challenge to send us this postcard from distant parts. Waypoints 38 through 44 of the Comfy Canonn cruise featured more bulb mollusks as well as parasol mollusks for a change, 2 kinds of E-type anomalies and a spectacular Rosium Lagrange storm cloud. Congratulations go to Commander L1 Rium for reaching Exploration Elite while getting ahead of the route. He, together with Commander Servalan, are now hanging out at the bar in Explorer's Anchorage and waiting for Khonsu's arrival in Stu May KM-W C1-342. An experienced fuel rat who understandably wants to stay anonymous forgot to equip a fuel scope when out mining tritium for Khonsu. It happens to the best. The captain himself eagerly jumped into the rescue, finally getting a chance to put the fuel transfer limpet controller bought for such occasions to its intended use. Details of the cruise are at bit.ly, Comfy Canonn Cruise. The Artemis Biological Survey, which is searching for new biological features and exceptional geological formations, has beamed a message from the Inner Orion Spur. Commander Alistair Hope has sent us this report. This week, the Artemis Biological Survey reached its 5th waypoint in the Scuddai Nebula. Since the beginning of the expedition, the participants have collected data on 89 species living on planets with a thin atmosphere, which corresponds to 358 subspecies, coloured variants. This has generated an amount of genetic data sold to Vista Genomics of 1.318 million credits, spread over 63 commanders who upload their data into Sikrborg database. Beyond this, the photographic documentation of the species, the data collected, 4,744 entries at this point, allows us to increase our knowledge on the living conditions of the different species. We are currently working on temperature, pressure conditions needed for different species. Details of the expedition, including their Discord, being operated jointly in English and in French, can be found at bit.ly Artemis Survey. The Calypso mission, organised by the Titan contractors, has concluded, and the captain offers this farewell report. There are many more different types of life out there. These were only ones that were in the operating range of the TSV journey. We hope our mission encourages you to get out there and discover the diverse, organic life that has laid undisturbed for millions of years. Our thanks go out to our commanders for helping return the TSV journey back to our control safely after Incident 3. We now intend to return to the Solaris carrier and mothball the TSV journey until it is needed again, with the crew returning to their own duties back aboard the carrier. Fly safe, Captain Lucien King and the TSV journey crew. 07 XXX. The homepage for the TSV journey, which has a link to all of the 100 plus reports, including incredible views in Report 62, dense grassy forests in Report 103, an attack on the journey in Report 111, and the conclusion of the mission in Report 118 is at bit.ly Titan Calypso. The Elite Dangerous clock moves closer to midnight, as it's less than 3 weeks now until King Hanky's party on the 14th of July, destined to make storming the Bastille look like a party for one during lockdown. Celebrate King Hardy's 6th Fleet carrier with the Clonmeister Snake Charmer by seeking out the event on your Facebook events page. Not that anyone's done it up to now, but if you know of an event that we should cover, do get in touch, please.
Thank you very much, everybody. Wow, that was a lot of news and a lot of events. But we are in the studio this evening. We have Commander Ventura on the decks. Whether he's saying hi or he's running around trying to put fires out, we don't know. Hello, Norman?
Hello.
No, he's putting fires out. There we go.
We shouldn't be using that to put the fires out. That's just not right.
It's not big and it's not clever.
Not an electrical fire anyway. You don't want to be doing that.
Can I use it some other way?
Yeah, not to lasso you things either.
If you whip it round like a helicopter, it might create a breeze that puts the fire out.
Anyway, we also have Harry Balsack, also known as Commander Palantir. Good evening, Squire.
Good evening, good evening, good evening.
I'm going to ask how you are later in the show, because it's a Green Room week, but yeah, I'll ask you how you are later. You might survive the show up to that point. We have the Apology Officer, who will not be forgotten this week.
Yay!
Hey, you're not last.
I'm not last, not yet.
With a genuine apology this week. Well, no, sort of an apology report, yeah.
Yeah, it was a mission after action report, but it turned into a bit of an apology at the end.
Yeah, I tried doing that with me Zapper once.
Oh dear, you don't want to do it with your Zapper.
I snuck up on somebody, selected the right tool,
did
fired
you?
the Zapper, and then attempted to charge them instead of overload them. And they turned around and went, "Oh, what are you doing?" I said, "I was trying to charge."
I'm just helping you.
It's not illegal.
Yeah.
And they went, "Yes, but you are carrying one of those what do you call it? The e-breach kits on you, and therefore I'm going to shoot you in the face." And they had a shotgun.
Did you then shoot you in the face? Yeah.
They had a shotgun. Yeah.
Well,
so shields up, pew pew, as I'm mashing buttons trying to get my laser gun out.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
It didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So
and did you die?
Oh, and then they shot my corpse a few times. I died horribly earlier. I'll tell you all about the dying horribly earlier.
Oh,
later.
yeah, I think I saw something about that. Yeah, that seems particularly entertaining.
Yes, I ate a pineapple. Anyway,
pilots never die. They're always critically injured.
Or unconscious, yes. Well, that's how you get back to the space station afterwards rather than the mortuary.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. You pick up some of those occupied escape pods. Some kind person...
stick bits back on. It's fine.
I will grow you a new one. Don't worry about it. Yes.
End up looking like bagpuss.
And then, of course, that was the dulcet tones of Commander Chicks.
Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we had 2 articles about the BGS this evening.
I know. What's going on?
Yeah,
apparently we mentioned America. Sorry, the night shift twice. Which
crikey!
Well,
the night shift
now.
Retired Navy IT one's day, morning, whatever time it is there.
Night shift, yes.
18th century.
Thanksgiving.
He needs 18th century. Yes. He needs more coffee.
And of course, we heard from Commander Flossy.
Hello.
Or Flossy's alter ego, anyway, earlier, telling us all about the events out there. I mean, there are lots and lots of events going on, aren't they? Most of them are sort of exploration, sort of related at the moment. People seeing beautiful things and going, ooh.
Yeah, there are some lovely things out there.
Yes, space cucumbers, space loofahs, all those kind of bits. But
donut trees.
Donut trees. I've not seen a donut tree yet. I found one of those bacterial ones by accident. I landed on a planet to take some video footage, and oh look, I've landed on a piece of bacteria. So I quickly
bacterial donut. Don't eat that.
Yeah, quickly.
You're able to find 2 more though. That's the question.
Well, yeah, it was either that or my ship was leaking because I landed right on top of it and there was a puddle underneath. So
like floor mopping guy has tipped over his bucket.
Well, I did manage to find a couple more buckets just over the brow of the next hill. So I actually managed to get. I broke my duck on handing in biological data. Yes, the duck is broken.
Oh no!
And we're joined this evening by a special guest star. Well, it was LCU No Full Lake one, but I think his alter ego may be back. Good evening, Squire.
Good evening.
Oh, you're still there. You're still there, and you've come in a bit. We're not going to do it quite yet, but you've come to talk about balls.
You know what? I don't think I can put up with this kind of abuse. I'm going to let my assistant talk for me instead. So,
well, you go and sulk in a corner, and yes, he can talk balls for you.
Yeah.
So anyway, yes, our second special guest this evening. Now that LCU's cleared off and is sulking in a corner, would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
Yeah, I'm Commander Powell Oblivion of Canonn Research. I'm LCU's assistant.
And well, we might as well sort of kick off with talking about these big balls that you've been looking at for the last couple of days. What does it mean? What are we talking about? I think we have a video somewhere in the background, vaguely, but you've been telling us.
It's been a good week for celestial collisions. So yesterday we had 2 gas giants do a full head-on collision, basically passing through each other. and I had Commander Wotherspoon on board to record a video. I'm not sure if that's the one you're going to be showing. And right now, I'm watching two rocky bodies collide with each other. And if you hear me screaming, it's because my ship's about to get crushed by a planet that is rapidly.
Yeah, well, we can see on the moment on screen at the moment. It looks like is it a beluga there in the middle, looking like it's about to be crushed by some very very colourful looking gas giants on screen, and including being dragged into randomly the gravitational wells of one then the other then one then the other on screen.
Yeah, that was an unusual effect, that one.
Yes. But yeah, so these have got a name, obviously, because they're brightly coloured.
Yeah, so it's Rhubarb and Custard is what they're called. And what we're thinking is that, as they keep colliding every few months, that the colours will start to merge at some point. But yeah, we discovered them, I guess it's nearly a year ago now, by looking through the Spanish database. So I was particularly looking for bodies that were likely to collide, and these were the only gas giants, because there are quite a few sort of rocky bodies and the like, but these were the only gas giants that were doing it. And so we went out to go and sort of measure where they were and try and work out how frequently they would collide and when they would do it and by how much. So we did all the calculations last year and predicted that there would be a full head-on collision with a 99% overlap, and it was pretty much spot on. So
because they are almost identically the same diameter, aren't they? But these two, it's not like Big Moon, Little Moon.
Yeah, they are actually absolutely identical, and the orbits are almost identical. The orbits have there's a little tilt in the orbit, and what that means is that if you're at the point where the two orbits are tilted relative to each other, then the bodies will be won't be close to each other when they pass. But if they pass at a point near where the orbits pivot to each other, then they'll be very close together. And
it is. I mean, it's quite the sight seeing these things. These huge, massive bodies, and some kind of space anomaly happens such that there isn't a huge explosion or big farty clouds of gas going everywhere. There's some kind of anomaly happens such that they don't actually interfere with each other too badly.
Yeah, it's very. We would have predicted some sort of loud explosion, or or maybe that they would merge into a brown dwarf or something like that. Although they're not quite massive enough to make a brown dwarf together.
Or amalgamate, then achieve the same orbit as each other, or and so the second one, you see that was yesterday, the last intersection of those, and then today there's another one.
Yeah, so today it's two rocky bodies. They're in the galactic mapping project as the Cyanean rocks, which is if you've watched Jason and the Argonauts, you'll know what they are. It's the two rocks the clashing rocks that the ship passes through. And this is the first time I've seen them with the new planetary generation. So it's a bit different. They're slightly different colours this time round. But yeah, it's very interesting. And my heat levels are going up, and I'm about to die.
Well, it's a good thing you're there by hollow presence rather than actually needing an ambulance sometime soon. But I mean, obviously, Canonn loves these kind of science projects. It's not all about the Thargoids, is it? And Guardians. Sometimes it's about galactic science.
Oh yeah, I mean, the big thing for us at the moment is obviously all the new biology that's out there, and we've been doing all sorts of analysis to sort of try and work out what the various conditions are, and see if we can predict what we're likely to find. So one of the things one of the guys was looking at, he said, well, there's going to be some of these around the Herbig star because we've got a gap. So people went out and looked, and they found them. So there's lots of stuff like that going on.
So you're managing to make predictions about certain kinds of biology in certain areas. We know, obviously, the biology does vary depending on what sector of the Milky Way you're in as well. There's certain bits only appear in sort of further arms as well. So I'm assuming you've got teams out on some of the far arms trying to find stuff that's absolutely unique to that corner of the Milky Way.
Yeah, there's people everywhere, looking all different locations. But what we're seeing so far is that a lot of the new biology is very widespread. You can find it almost anywhere.
So, I mean, we've finally got proof that life is abundant in the Milky Way.
Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily intelligent life that's going to try and attack you and eat you and that kind of thing.
I think that's a bit of a shame, actually. I think it'd be quite nice if some of these things were dangerous. But, or if there was something more that we could do with them than just look at them. So the biology that we generally find on airless planets, so the anemones and tubers and things like that, they have materials that grow on them on various outgrowths, and so it's actually quite worthwhile knowing where they are, because if you're hunting for materials,
or synthesis for your SRV, or new fuel for your ship, that kind of thing.
Yeah, whereas the new ones, it's there's no additional compelling reason to see them unless it's to go off and collect them all. But the Canonn Challenge has got so much more challenging now, because I think the new biology, we're like well over 500 species so far, or subspecies, I should say. So there's 15.
You've got your genus, and then you've got your
species,
genus, and then the color variants and shape variants. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for coming to join us this evening. Do keep us up to date. Now, we did have some good news as well regarding Canonn Interstellar this week, in that the shipment that went down to the Antarctic finally managed to make its way back to Tasmania and then back to the studio here at Hutton. So we now have back here the Canonn Interstellar goodies, the 2 bottles that were signed by the expedition team and the team down at the Antarctic, and they have come back
in the same number of segments as they went down.
Yes, unlike last time, they are in one piece. So we will be putting them in a secure lockbox, ready for a fundraising attempt in the future as well, and use them to raise money for charity. So pass on our thanks to the team over at Canonn for producing, and of course, and you for sending them over to us.
I will do. It's we've got some new stuff in the works as well, which something kind of special, which hopefully we'll be able to send some of those out for charity at some point.
We have got confirmation, by the way, that the 2 bottles are still sealed, so the whatever concoction was in them, I think is probably still in them as well. Thargoid resin or something, or I don't know what you put in them, but it made funny noises when we shook it, so we didn't open it.
Distilled avian cheese.
Oh yes. Anyway, and obviously a few goodies of a few goodies have come back from the Antarctic as well, with Commander Dog's Breath as usual. Obviously, it was a bit more of an interesting expedition than it would otherwise have been, having caught fire halfway back and having to be escorted to Western Australia. So Commander Dog's Breath is going to be joining us in a couple of weeks, I think, to talk about the expedition and what happened and how they nearly didn't make it back, but actually they did, and it's all cool.
Yay.
And also for Flossy, obviously, your friends over at the Fuel Rats, their goodies have managed to make it back intact as well. I have the Fuel Rats stuff back in one piece, unblemished.
Oh, that's good.
So, please pass on to our friends at the Fuel Rats our thanks for sending them down to the Antarctic. And we have got them back, and we're going to be using them to raise money for charity later.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So has anybody else got anything before I do the next bit before the next bit?
No, go on to the next bit.
Go on to the next bit, because we've got a green room coming up. Norm, have you got a thing sort of vaguely lined up, vaguely ready? if I introduce it in a second. Oh. No, he's wrangling Mr. Dusty.
Let's do that bit while we wait. Talk about next week.
Yeah, well, so you tell us what's going on next week.
All right. Well, despite the problems that we're seeing in the world, we are still having LaveCon next week, as you heard earlier in the news, and it's going to be virtual, and it'll be happening at the same time. And Hutton Orbital Radio News will be doing our traditional stint at LaveCon, which is basically late flipping night on Saturday for the show instead of Thursday. So,
but we are being joined by special guests.
Oh yes, we've because Frontier are giving their guys a couple of days off over the weekend, and we will actually have several of the Frontier people as special guests during the show.
There are strong rumours that there might be somebody from the server team who happens to know a lot about the BGS. There may be somebody from one of the dev teams who may or may not have appeared on Hutton Live at Lave before, and maybe somebody from the community management team as well, doing a guest appearance. Obviously, they're not there to talk about spaceships or Panther Clippers or anything they're not supposed to talk about. They're there to join in the fun and read some of the news, and we do have a special sketch written just for them.
Yes.
But that's traditional. That's what we do normally. Other than that, is there a program yet, or is there any indication about the whats and whens and whys and wheres?
We haven't seen anything. All we know is that I think we're on at 10 p.m. BST.
Could be 10-ish, something like that. Yeah.
10-ish, yes, yeah.
But to be confirmed. But that means that on Thursday, apology officer, we're going to need an apology. Have we lost the apology officer?
No, I had muted myself like a mad fool.
Okay. We're going to need an apology about next Thursday.
Are we?
Yes. Well, we've got to be very sorry because there won't be a show on Thursday.
Yes. We're awfully sorry there won't be a show on Thursday, but there will be one on Saturday, so you can listen to it then.
So if you turn up on Thursday evening, you'll probably see a stream of, I don't know, whatever Wotherspoon's watching at the moment, which sounds dodgy. Of course, he is tuned into the show. Right, we've got the rest of the show.
Dodgier than this, you mean?
No, even dodgier than this. We've got the rest of the show coming up. Obviously, we've got a bit of a Galnet News Digest coming up. We've got the Unlikely Sports Report. We haven't heard from AEMILIA yet this evening. AEMILIA is currently missing in action, but we may find out what's what. And, of course, we've got Flossy with the update on who's winning last week's CG and what on earth is going on. But before that, Norm, did we buy you enough time? Yes, excellent. Well, one of the things we have noticed that there have been large deliveries of salt recently to the Pilots Federation over in Shinrata Desra. There's been an awful lot of salt being delivered in brick format in some cases. So our friends over at HCS, and that includes me these days, have put together a little bit of a love letter to Elite and to the community and to the fun that some of us are having. And it has launched this evening along with their summer sale that's going on. And they've put together a little video with quite a special voiceover from one of the cast, from the voice known as Dark from one of their packs, has done us a most wonderful voiceover. And they've allowed us to premiere it live on this show this evening. So, Norm, if you've got it, and you've got the sound of the bits and the bobs, and you can get rid of the big balls on screen, then
I'll do that, Nick.
Take it away. Drum roll, please.
Imagination will often carry us to worlds that never were. But without it, we go nowhere. Carl Sagan. Many of us find ourselves looking up at the stars, wondering if our solar system holds any clue about the origins of life, where it all began. Speculating on whether or not intelligent life started out on Earth, or perhaps somewhere else, close by in our solar system. Right now, humans are in the early stages of physical exploration outside of Earth's atmosphere. And before venturing further and beyond the realm of the planets, it's here, Sol, where we begin humanity's quest and the search for life. The star we orbit, along with the rest of the planets, is just one of billions and billions of stars here in the Milky Way galaxy. And presently, it is the only star system we can viably expect to explore for a long while yet. Unlocking new and exciting discoveries on Mars, the other planets, or at the edge of our solar system is a certainty now, given the technological advances made in the last few decades. But that is not where exploration should end. Of course not. History already tells us that humanity knows no such bounds. Earth's pioneers will continue reaching out further and further, out and onward through interstellar space, into the unknown. For the moment, in our lifetime, we must be content with what is yet to be discovered out in our solar system, on our cosmic doorstep. After all, it is possible, even likely, that we might just discover something extraordinary right here. But further out there? Well, science tells us it just isn't plausible to expect to go further than the edge of our solar system just yet. Decades, the end of the century maybe. Though it could take even longer than that, which leaves you with little more than just to imagine for now, to dream about what might be out there, and to hope that someday answers will come. A fair amount of you are evidently content to explore the vastness of space and the entire Milky Way galaxy simulated in front of a computer. Courtesy of the pioneering accomplishments of computer simulation developer Frontier, with their multi-award-winning and BAFTA-nominated title, Elite Dangerous.
Stop all thrusters on my mark.
Standing by.
Now.
Affirmative, slowing to a full engine stop.
And if this is the first time you've heard about the title, you should definitely investigate more, if indeed you're a science fiction fan and enjoy video games about both science and, of course, role-playing. The footage you see here, since the very start of the video, is taken directly from the simulation itself. In a simulated environment such as this, it's fascinating just how much can really be imagined. If you already have the title, you'll have a good understanding of how engaging Elite Dangerous is as both an adventure and a simulation.
Ich sende hiermit die besten Wünsche an alle Empfänger dieser Nachricht. To all our friends in outer space, may you have a wonderful time exploring.
Imagine being told back in 2011 that in a few short years you'd be able to visit every star in this galaxy in a futuristic simulated space title on your own computer. When it was first announced, it drew a lot of interest and excitement, but at the same time, skepticism about anyone being able to make it possible in terms of delivering what we have today with Elite Dangerous, and for good reason. Something unprecedented like a computer simulation of an entire galaxy in a futuristic sci-fi setting would be a massive undertaking. Almost 4 decades ago, the game Elite was created. Wireframed ships, 256 planets in 8 galaxies. Our imagination was fired as to what could be. Turn time forward to 2012, and Frontier's dream of bringing a simulation of the entire Milky Way to the masses was launched. 400 billion star systems, the night sky as you see it looking up and beyond, through science to an accurate simulation of the entire galaxy. The crowdfunder was a huge success, and a few years later, in 2014, Elite Dangerous became a reality for the backers and sci-fi gamers on the whole. And so, delivered as promised at a premiere event in Cambridge, England, was the entire Milky Way, to explore in your own virtual starships. Able to travel at many times the speed of light to reach the far-off corners of the galaxy.
Navigation.
Navigation.
Take us into orbit.
Yes, Commander. Autopilot engaged.
It sounds incredible that a simulation of this scale, magnitude, and scope could really exist. And it is incredible, even more so when you consider that you can travel all the way to the center of the Milky Way while stopping off to view a great many places. Space stations and settlements, stars and black holes, asteroid belts, and all of the many unique and diverse planets. As Elite has evolved, we've left the comfort of our ship out in our rover to visit airless worlds, and then, with Odyssey, finally setting foot on the surface under colorful skies.
Request docking, please.
Stand by. Docking request confirmed.
When you hear "Blaze Your Own Trail" echoing from the trailers and video demonstrations, just remember, it is left entirely up to you what you do and where you go in the Elite Dangerous universe. Total freedom. There's nothing linear. There's nothing telling you where or how to do much once you set off. And that's what makes the title and the gameplay so cool. Total freedom for you to set your own course and adventure on. With your friends, flying solo, or with the ever-growing global community player groups, all of which thrive on the wonder and amazement that Elite Dangerous delivers. Thanks to Frontier, we have on our screens, at our fingertips, the largest simulated environment the gaming world has ever seen. The entirety of the Milky Way. And it really has delivered. The developers, Frontier, have a vision for what is coming next. The stories, the new ways to experience the galaxy, blending science with science fiction to deliver more sights and experiences and bring what is out there to your screen. It is a monumental undertaking, but HCS, along with the community, are here to share the entire journey. It doesn't matter if you've played since 2014, 2020, or since the 1980s with the first iteration of Elite. There are now new players arriving daily in the community, and they're only just discovering for the first time how breathtakingly brilliant Elite Dangerous is. Veteran players will undoubtedly envy the newcomers for what they're about to experience for the first time. But they should also salute and welcome them to the community and to the awesome and ever-expanding game that Elite Dangerous is. When you power down your ship for the night, wherever you may be in the galaxy, imagine what is coming next in the years to come.
Just go.
I must say, it's a treat to be able to take part in the show and sit in these comfy seats, even if they are suspiciously warm. Talking to the effects of digestion, it's time for the Galnet News Digest from Commanders Beetlejude and Wotherspoon, who smells.
Galnet News Digest, 24th of June, 3307. We read the news so you don't have to.
In this week's news, Thargoids expelled at last.
The version 1 DSS.
Only you, or that other lot, can save mankind.
After weeks of clinging on with a marginal presence in 4 systems in the Pleiades and the California Nebula, the Thargoids have finally been expelled from all human-occupied systems, and the fires have been put out in the damaged stations in these systems too, giving Operation Ida something to do. Thargoids had managed to avoid total eviction from the HR 1183, HIP 18390, Atlas and Delphi systems for several weeks, despite the best efforts of the Anti-Xeno Initiative. But after the intervention of shiny-petered boffin, who we shall call Commander Dav Stott, to protect his identity, the persistent Thargoid presence almost magically melted away. Commander Stott, not his real name, had been heard to utter the word "oopsie" when told about the Teflon-coated Thargoids. It is assumed that Commander Stott was in possession of a vial of the mycoid virus, which is known to kill 99% of all known Thargoids. Dead. Whatever the explanation, the remaining Thargoids all vanished, and the way is open now to repair the 5 Thargoid damaged starports in these 4 systems. Ark's Faith in HR 1183, California Freeport in HIP 18390, Selene Orbital in Atlas, and Donar's Oak and the Oracle in Delphi. The Oracle is already 50% repaired.
Following the successful conclusion of Sirius Corporation's attempt to corner the market in muon imagers, questions are being asked about the reward that they've offered. The detailed surface scanner, which will be available from Friday at human technology brokers everywhere, at a hefty discount for the first 2 weeks, and which will be gifted to the top 75% of participating pilots, is the same DSS that Sirius previously offered as a reward for commanders who participated in the search for ammonia worlds for Sirius atmospherics to terraform. It has a much greater scan radius, and can cover 4 times as much planetary surface in a single shot as the basic DSS, and almost twice the area of a fully engineered DSS. But why is Sirius describing it as the version 1 detailed surface scanner? Do they have an even more wondrous version 2 of the scanner under development? If the version 1 Sirius scanner can 2-shot a target 6-shot planet, will the version 2 be able to do the entire planet in 1? Commanders around the galaxy are excited to see what Sirius will create next.
Commanders who've been helping out the mysterious Salvation in the search for the sister ship of the Adamastor, the Hesperus, and then for the missing crew of the Hesperus, and who finally discovered the ancient Anaconda Proteus on the 12th of June, now find themselves faced with a dilemma. Do they remain loyal to Salvation, whose guidance led them to the discovery, or do they switch allegiance to Aegis, the tri-superpower anti-Thargoid defense organisation? The Proteus was found in the middle of what is presumed to be a far more ancient battleground, the site of a skirmish between the Thargoids and the long-extinct Guardians. It seems likely that Salvation believes that the Guardian technology found there can be used to make newer and deadlier weapons than anything seen before, which, by an astonishing coincidence, is exactly what Aegis Research was attempting to develop right up until the moment that they lost all their research material together with their megaship Alexandria. Salvation has appealed for Guardian technology to start developing the weapons that can save humanity. And right on cue, Aegis has appealed for the same Guardian technology, so it can get back to developing weapons. Their 2 megaships, the Glorious Prospect and the Archimedes, are parked up alongside each other, leading to the question, why can't they act like grown-ups and share their findings? That way, there wouldn't need to be a competition, and both Salvation and Aegis would get access to all the materials they needed to conduct their research. If they worked together, they might develop something even better than either one of them could develop on their own. But apparently cooperation wasn't possible, and so the race is on to save humankind faster than the other lot. Humanity, we're disappointed in you.
And that's this week's Galnet News. Galnet News, we read the news so you don't have to.
Thank you, Commanders Beetlejude and Wotherspoon. Wonderful writing as always. Never has the gun been better used. Time for David Braven's favourite bit of the show now. It's Flossy with the CG News.
When the universe is in trouble, bug infestations in the bubble, your home station's burned rubble. What on earth can we do now? Interstellar initiatives. Let Flossy tell you what it is. Then you can get involved with this. You should listen to what Flossy says. Interstellar initiatives. Flossy tells us what she thinks it is. Then you can get involved with this. Now you should listen to what Flossy says.
Hello, Flossy here with this week's CG News. Last week's CG, the Engineered Detailed Surface Scanner Initiative, completed at 13:30 UTC on Tuesday. Tier 5 means full discounts apply on the materials required to buy further copies of the module during the first 2 weeks of availability. Anyone in top 75% or higher will also receive one module free by the end of Friday the 25th of June. Materials required to buy each module from all human technology brokers are 12 niobium instead of 24, 12 mechanical components, normally 28, 10 germanium, normally 22, and 10 mechanical scrap, should normally be 26. As this was a global reward, any commanders can take advantage even if they did not participate in the CG. And this week's CG News, Aegis appeal for Guardian artifacts and Salvation's appeal for Guardian artifacts. Aegis Research and Taurus Mining Ventures have requested deliveries of Guardian artifacts to the PMD 2009-48 system. The rival campaigns follow the discovery of an ancient battleground between the Guardians and the Thargoids on Trapezium Sector YU-X C1-2 1A. Aegis Research has positioned a megaship, the Archimedes, in the PMD 2009-48 system. Professor Albert Tesoro announced, "It is vital that Aegis replaces the Guardian artifacts that were lost aboard the Alexandria. Without sufficient materials, our anti-xeno research program will be severely hampered." Pilots are asked to deliver Guardian artifacts identified as caskets, orbs, relics, tablets, totems and urns to Aegis Research at the Archimedes in the PMD 2009-48 system. If Tier 1 is reached and Aegis receives more donations than Taurus Mining Ventures, an approximate 5% reduction will be applied to Guardian material requirements at all technology brokers for each additional tier to a maximum of 25%. This will last for 4 weeks from the 2nd of July 3307. Patience Middleton, representing Taurus Mining Ventures, provided this statement. Salvation has claimed the exclusive right to exploit the Proteus site, which was discovered thanks to his specialist knowledge. He has contracted us to pay for Guardian caskets, orbs, relics, tablets, totems and urns brought to the megaship Glorious Prospect. The Alliance, Empire and Federation consider depriving Aegis of resources to be a criminal act. As a result, pilots are warned that any ship modules reserved from Taurus Mining Ventures received from Taurus Mining Ventures will be marked as hot, thereby incurring extra costs to be cleaned prior to installation. If Tier 1 is reached, the top 10% of contributors will receive a focused, long-range, high-penetration, fixed Class 2 Guardian Shard cannon, with additional weight, power draw and heat. This will be placed into storage at the Glorious Prospects in the PMD 2009-48 system by the 2nd of July. If Taurus Mining Ventures receives more donations than Aegis, the top 75% of contributors will receive the module. The initiative begins on 24th of June and will run for 1 week. If targets met earlier than planned, the campaign will end immediately. To earn rewards, you must sign up as an active participant before delivering the various Guardian items to either the Archimedes or the Glorious Prospects in the PMD 2009-48 system. And that's it for this week's CG News.
Flossy told you what to do.
Thank you, Flossy. God, it's getting really exciting with all these weapons. I bet you're going to be unstoppable when you've got one of those. Talking of unstoppable, but you're going to get one. Talking of unstoppable, no matter how many times we ask, it's over to the apology officer with this week's sports report.
Welcome to the Hutton Sports Report. The Hutton Sports Report is sponsored by the Hutton Helper, the only third-party resource to come with a free inflatable thesaurus suit, so you can dress up as a giant dinosaur and scare off any boarding parties with your ferocious roar and offer alternative words for the expletives they are shouting at you. Warning, thesaurus suit is not safe for hard vacuum and should not be used for EVA. This week we have the following events: the Dora the Explorer box set bonanza, the empty your load and get back on the road innuendo cup. When I say cup, I mean never mind. The no time for pishing, we've got a mission, cast iron bladder endurance race, the time to hunt the wanted criminal, close shave shield, the someone shot at Mia and they got diarrhea challenge, the booze cruise seasick drinkathon. So roll the rumbly bumbly, watch out for the diddly doodads, and remember that thingamybobs get you disqualified. Got that? Brilliant. The classified results are... Yep, yeah, there we are. Somebody gave it a kick. Good. Marxanthius, 91. The Shriek, 46. Light 027, 121. Baron von Marlon, 64. Poltergeist, 183.5. Montgomery Python, 162. Attic 2, 197. Mazar Kurin, 156. James the Fox, 5,557. Iron Beagle, 301. Antarius Fusion, 399. Simmons, 109. North Britain Non-Boogie Collective, 1. Red and White Croatianists, 3. South Britain Gammonland, 1. Check the Back of the Net, 0. West Britain Red Dragons versus Where the Bacon Come From will be played on Saturday night. Barnard Star Second 11, Shouty has a groin strain, 2. Wolf 25 Juniors, 2. Hill Passy Blues, 1. Sparta Sol, 2. Right. Decals, well, there's no decals for anyone this week. They've all got them. So, no one should email outtookpart@huttonorbital.com and should definitely not arrange to collect your Hutton decal kit, which this week would have consisted of a green Sharpie and some weird size sticky tape. Maybe just as well, because that's all we had left. Someone sniffed all of the Tipex dinner and then ate the sticky notes. It was me. I was someone. We have had 2 Hutton runs this week. Both are respectable times, but neither challenges the record of 1 hour, 22 minutes and 20 seconds, which was set by Commander Hardy back in January 3307. Commander J. Nix was the quickest with a time of 1 hour, 23 minutes dead. Not dead, just 1 hour, 23 minutes and no seconds. Honestly, I gave him a kick and he farted, so they can't be dead, even if it smelled like they were. Our second, more pedestrian commander this week to make the run was retired Navy IT-1, who took 1 hour, 24 minutes and 41 seconds. So JNX is in 14th place and retired Navy IT-1 is in 200th overall. Are you fat, lazy, grumpy and a bit smelly? Yes? Well, that's great. Why not come to join us at Hutton? We don't mind your eccentricities, not even that thing you do with the oven-ready chicken and the rubber glove. Here's an idea. Why don't you go to hot.forthemug.com and get the Hutton download, or start again. Why not go to hot.forthemug.com and sign up or download the Hutton Helper before wafting out into the galaxy to do wonderful things for Hutton? Let's face it, anything has to be better than spending the day trying to rhyme something with diarrhea, only to realise your name is the best words to rhyme it with. Well, the tip externer's wearing off now, and I have to re-enter my body. Don't ask. So it's back to Studio 5.
Ellen.
Sorry.
Ellen.
Sorry. Thank you, Mia. Time now for the Galnet Race Digest before we go to the green room. Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
I can see it really had you gripped.
Good evening. This is Amelia Hawke reporting for the Galnet Rares Digest. We try all the galaxy's rarest and most dangerous commodities, so you don't have to.
Good evening, and welcome to the bit of the show which would normally be dedicated to the Galnet Rares Digest. I'm Commander Vantean, and I've got a note from Amelia here. Took it a bit far over in Delta Phoenicis. Things have gone a bit wibbly. Gone for a lie down. We'll explain next week. Well, that's that then. We hope Amelia's okay. I mean, the sandy beaches covered in palm trees. How dangerous could it have been? Anyway, this was Commander Vantean, not reporting for the Galnet Rares Digest. Looks like Amelia tried one of them so we didn't have to, and judging by how shaky her handwriting is in this note, it's probably a good thing. And now it's time for a green room chat. Now it does say random long advert, but just looking through the window at the green room, I think we just grab them down here and say hi. What do you reckon? Because we've had a lot this evening. What does everybody else reckon? Should we just grab them and bring them down here?
Yes.
Yeah,
go on then. Right, well, I'm going to open the door and grab the retired Navy. Somebody grab the litho breaker and
I've got Aiden.
And you've got the Aiden. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Whoosh! We've dragged him in here. Oh no! Somebody's left litho breaker behind.
Jim.
Oh please! Oh
no, we've got him. We've got him.
Don't sit there. Don't sit. No.
Uh-oh.
Who's
Oh, you've squashed it now.
It's the umbrella stand with LCU hiding in it. Oh, it's a mess.
Yeah.
It's me a sandwich.
So, usual format. These are all regulars. We'll go down the list. Me first, and then Flossy, and then LCU can interview the third person, then Chicks, then the apology officer, and then Harry, unless I've got him twice.
No,
so
you're fine.
I'm going to say hello first. I'm going to say hello to Norman.
Hello.
Hello.
Tis
Hello.
I.
Thank you very much for wrangling all of the videos this evening. It was a bit video heavy, wasn't it? But we do appreciate all the efforts.
It was a bit this time. But
yeah, it was a little bit. But we've got Thursday off next week. So, how on earth are you, Old Fruit?
I'm actually doing okay. I've been enjoying Odyssey. I don't know about anyone else, but I've been enjoying it.
Lots and lots and lots of people seem to have been. They're just not sort of posting salty things on forums about it.
Yeah, I had problems at the start. Sorry, I had problems at the start when the alpha was out, so I left it for a wee bit and then just basically, and then came in. I think it was when everyone got partnerships in and all that sort of thing. So I thought, I'll try it from there, and from that point on, it's been okay. So yeah, no, I've been having fun in it. It's great.
You've been shooting things or exploring things or probing things? What have you been up to?
I have been shooting things. I've been dying, or sorry, been recovering, or whatever the hell they call it. And I've been playing around with the fighters, the SRVs, and the ships. So you can actually, I put two SRVs in one ship, and had two fighters, and I could take one SRV out, leave it on the planet, then back to my ship, get the next one, take one out, and then leave it on the planet. Then my ship takes off, and I take the fighters out. So I've got all this sort of thing going. So yeah,
Is that with them? Then you take the fox across the river and bring the chicken back. Is that how you do it? Is that the next bit?
The fox eats the and then everybody drinks the ionized gas. Yeah,
as long as you don't leave your instance, your SRVs are still there. So yeah. No, you can leave them sitting there. Quite good. I was just playing around and seeing if it would work, but it doesn't work. But what the hey? Anyway, for the mug, let somebody else take over.
Thank you very much. Right, and who did I say was second then? Flossy, you would like to interview the next person.
Next person being Harry Balzac.
Oh, hello. Floss, how are you doing? Hello.
I'm doing all right. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you. I have not been in game whatsoever this week, I'm afraid. I've been a bit
You haven't?
busy.
That's unusual.
No, it is. I think I managed to log in last week. Each week I download the update, and that's as far as I get.
Have you done much baking this week?
Yes, I have done. I've made some very nice bread. Thank you very much for asking. Yes, had a nice 2.5 hour Zoom class on Tuesday, and we made a panda compagnon, made a fougasse, and made some baguettes. And then immediately from that, with the bread still red hot, dashed into my study and sat down and joined the virtual audience for the Radio 4 program, The Kitchen Cabinet.
Very good.
So in a few weeks' time, if anybody listens to it, here's the one about barbecuing. If you hear some idiot laughing in the background, it's almost certainly me.
All right.
And that's about all I've done this week, so I'm going to say for the mug, we'll move on.
Thank you for the mug. Then it's LCU. To talk to
Me.
John, babe.
Oh, he's run away from the microphone.
I'm back.
You're back.
Who am I talking to?
You're interviewing me.
Oh, how was your week?
Well, I mean, apart from spending an awful lot of time trying to get that video footage, which was tricksy, especially that bit with the Imperial fighter at the end at 2 meters above the ground, and not crashing into the scenery. You may have noticed I did clip the scenery a tiny bit there, and then boosting through the base at the top. I was trying to go for that, snow speeder kind of vibe. On Hoth when he was hunting for Han and Luke in the morning. Just about managed it. So I was doing that, and then I've been testing a few things, and I've attacking engineering bases full of scavengers, and I seem to have bitten off more than I could chew earlier because I landed, and there were 8 of them, and so I got up on somewhere high with my sniper rifle, and I was busy taking them out, and then they airdropped another 8 on me. At which point I ducked and hid on top of the tower I was on, and looked up, and the next thing I saw was 6 pineapples flying through the sky at me as they all launched their grenades at me, all at once, with unerring accuracy. And so I ate pineapple, and they blew the bits. They blew me to bits. They blew the bits up, and then the bits that were left, they blew them up as well. And then I had to get a lift back to the hospital.
That sounds terribly unfriendly. I might have to pick your brains though, because I think I need to to do some sabotage on some of these places that are getting rid of the bark bands. So I might ask some tips.
Oh, we can certainly give you pointers. Yes, and good places if we spot them to pick up your G3 upgraded gear as well. Because as people are flying around in Odyssey on our Discord channel, they're posting in the Odyssey channel, oh, I found one of these and I don't need it, so if anybody wants it, it's here. So handy Hutton truckers helping each other find all the gear as well.
Now we've got an alert Discord that tells you where they aren't. Every time someone buys one, it says, "You don't look here anymore because it's already sold."
No, right, yeah. Well, it's I've managed to get everything up to a 3 and my Aphelion, my laser rifle up to a 4 now, and I've begun to get to the stage where I can kick ass, but just not against 6 pineapples at once. That doesn't work. You can't dodge them, you can't move, they're coming from all around you, that's it. You just see them and arc through the sky beautifully, and that's it. Yeah, game over. So yeah, I've been playing an awful lot of Odyssey and enjoying it. And I may have been on the forums a bit, telling people how much I enjoyed it and then receiving all the flack. Because I can't enjoy it, because it's broken, and I must be lying. And I've clearly got lower standards than everybody else, because I'm enjoying myself. And by the way, I've got no proof that my frame rates were any good. Which may have done a bit of a red rag to a bull thing on the forum, so they had about 4 pages of screenshots with frame rates shown in them. Of me doing fun things like cutting buildings open and firing up power generators and walking through smoke, that sort of stuff.
Well, apparently I didn't understand the subject of the thread.
Who didn't you?
No. So I'm just reading now.
Yeah, no, never mind. It was an attempt at providing a bit of an antidote to all of the saltiness, and it was a case of, well, actually, some of us, an awful lot of us, are having an awful lot of fun.
Well, you know, I mean, some people are just really unreasonable. I was looking on the forums today, and someone was talking about the Rhubarb and Custard collision. They're like, "It didn't explode. FTEV are terrible. Why didn't they make it explode?" It's like, oh, come on. I didn't even know it was going to happen.
Well, Dav, yes, has to sit there and go through all 400 billion systems by hand and do the maths that you've done on a couple of them.
Yeah,
and then hand code something specially.
Well, indeed, yeah. But no, I think, you know, I mean, obviously we're all sad for the things that have disappeared and things that have been lost, and hopefully, yeah, maybe some of them can reappear, or we'll find new ones. I mean, we'll find a new Mount Everest, you know. But I think the game looks absolutely stunning. You know, it works fine on 2 of my PCs. And I'm sure once they've got round to it, you know, my other PC, which actually is dead now, would probably be fine as well. So, no, I love it. It's good.
Things, as they say, can only get better. And I think better will be on the 1st is the next patch. Next Thursday. Probably a good thing not to have a show on the Thursday. Hutton Orbital might catch fire, or, you know, Eden might crash into it or something. But, yeah. Other than that, from me, it's a For the Mug.
For the Mug.
All right. Is it me next?
It's you next.
No,
Yes.
Chick's next. Chick's next, according to my
yes,
written
it
list.
is.
Yeah, but that's
That's
going to
right,
go
yeah.
wrong, because then the apology officer will have to talk to themselves.
Yeah.
Well, that's the only person who can understand the accent anyway.
Oh.
So
Says you, just because you've lost your thick Scottish accent.
A quick
I'm going to say
swapsies.
thick. Yeah, I'll go next and ask how are you, Commander Aidan?
I'm fine, thanks.
Excellent.
How are you?
Very well, thanks. You had a busy week?
Not as busy as last week. This week I've spent a little bit of time actually managing to follow in Commander Avantian's steps and get a decent chunk of my stuff up to level 3.
Oh, that's good.
So I now have enough. I now have a day suit and a night suit for when I want to go and blow things up.
Oh, does the night suit have like a white shirt and a black bow tie and like a red carnation in the pocket? In the buttonhole?
Don't think they allow that yet, but I can.
No, yeah, but one day.
Yes, one day. But I also have picked up a suit that actually allows me to see in the dark. So.
Oh, nice. That is handy.
So yes, I now have all 3 suits with
Yeah.
night vision on them, which I find is
That's fantastic. Yeah. I think that was a bit of an issue for some people when the alpha was going, was that they were struggling to see in the dark sometimes. And had to switch their torches on. Which kind of gave their position away a wee bit. So the fact that you've got night vision on yours is awesome.
I do like having night vision. It does make life a little easier when you're trying to spot the scavs.
Yeah.
They tend to go, oh, I've got lights on. I don't.
Yeah.
Admittedly, when it's sort of half a dozen to one, them not being, and you have to turn your shields on, does make life a little bit more tricky because they can see you there.
You can see your shields, yeah, but for that stealthy approach is very good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And also, they don't. You can be sat in your SRV just outside with the lights turned off and night vision on, and go, blink, blink.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Okay, very nice.
But other than that, not much, to be honest. I've spent more time this last couple of weeks running around in battle mechs rather than
okay.
But and going, haha, I've got a bigger mech than you.
Yes.
Yabu sucks.
Somebody's always got a bigger mech though.
Yeah.
But there you go.
But anyway,
Okay.
that's about it. And for the mug from me.
For the mug.
Okay, who am I talking to?
You're talking to me.
Oh God!
Hooray!
We'll get the hang of it after about.
You know you want to be my friend. You want to be my friend. Go on, ask me how my week's been.
How's your week, knee, been?
I've had a great week. I actually went out to I did take a wee trip out to the Proteus. I did some of the community gold stuff, and then the Proteus stuff came in. And I thought, I'm going to go and have a look at that.
How far out is Proteus?
The Proteus is about 1,300 light years out.
Okay.
But I took a long route out. I thought, I'll be clever and skip around the back of the Barnard's Loop and come in for the back, but you can't come in for the back. And then I tried coming in for the side, and you couldn't come in for the side. And I couldn't come in for the bottom or the top. And then somebody said, go to Shenvey, and you can plot her out directly in for there. So I went to Shenvey, and sure enough, I could plot her out straight in from there. And once I got there, it was really good. I wouldn't mention what was there, but it was really good, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Spent an evening trundling around looking at things because I can't get out yet. I'm not allowed to walk because of my weak knee that you mentioned earlier. So I did that, and then I came home.
Very good.
So that's been my week. So other than that, for the mug.
So don't go away, chicks, because it's for me to talk to you.
As
if I cared, how's your week been? As if I cared. Sorry. It says here in the script. Say, how's your week been? As if I cared. How's your week been?
How's your week been?
Well, as you've probably seen, I've been weed bothering again.
You've been weeing something, yeah.
Yes, taking all those pictures for you to use. Yes,
I'm very grateful I am. Well, not very
nice.
grateful, just moderately grateful.
I quite like the camera suite. It's a marvellous thing. So yeah, trogging around on planets, zapping weeds. So about the point I'm going to turn around, because I think I've probably got enough. I hope I've got enough by the time I get back to be elite in exobiology.
Ooh.
I think. I don't know. Depends. You never know till you turn them in. But well on the way.
Have we seen anybody, certainly any truckers yet, post a picture of them doing that?
I don't
remember seeing
one person on, might be a couple now, but there was a Commander Disco on Inara I noticed was elite. I'm just going to look at page 1 of Commanders. Yeah, he's there. He's number 9. He's the only one I've seen so far. She's the only one. So I don't know.
Yes. Yeah, be interesting.
But of course, there might be people about to jump into a system with a station where they're going to dump it all tomorrow. But yeah, it's been interesting. You sort of get that feel after a while. And listening to LCU talking earlier on about what's where, and I've stuck to pretty much the same region of the galaxy. So I know from the codex so far there are 15 types, and I found all 15. But you sort of see the frequency of which these things occur, and if there's one plant on a planet, there's only one. It's almost certainly going to be bacteria, which are sometimes hard to find. But there's other stuff I found which are pretty spectacular, and I've only ever found one of them. Well, 3 obviously, because you get the scan, but only one planet on which they occur. So it's next time to go to a different part of the galaxy, a different region, and see what's there.
Well, it's probably worth you going back and having a look at that Titan Contractors Operation Calypso that Normal was talking about, because they've 118 updates they found with various things. It's a little dry, not much there's some images of it, but there are lots and lots of interesting things in there. I think I think it's getting a lift on a fleet carrier and going out somewhere and having a pootle round.
Yeah. Do you remember seeing it sort of looks like a transparent box with a yolk, sort of yellow football in the middle of it.
Yes.
I managed to find a different type of one of those, and the top was all broken open and it was blue, and I thought, I'm not peering over.
Xenomorphs probably escaped from that.
I'm not peering over the edge of that.
Well, you know what we had for lunch then. You.
Yeah. So yeah, weed bothering. So for the mug.
Time for Vantian's Normal. Is
it
me?
Yes, it's you.
Hello, Flossy. So what have you been up to? Have you been earning all your weapons?
No, I don't do weapons. I don't have any weapons.
I don't believe you.
I haven't, honestly.
See? Ow. I've got a bruise now.
Oh, right. Yeah, so I did the CG last week on three of my accounts, so I can get a scanner for each of them. Oh, and in real life, I did an evening shift at our local health centre, acting as a steward for the vaccination sessions.
Woo! Thank you very much. Well, thank you very much for doing your bit, Flossy. Yes.
Yeah, we decided that once we were fully vaccinated, we would help out, give a bit back. So last Monday was our first time.
Fantastic. Well, I really appreciate that, because obviously the more people that help out, the more people that do the bit, the quicker it all gets solved. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and at least attempting a test event next week. So first one in 500 days.
Oh,
woo!
Brilliant. Yeah. Nice one.
First bit of work in 500 days. But yeah, so, and it's because of the volunteers and because of the NHS that and all the health centres and everything that we actually are beginning to be able to do these kind of things. So yeah, no, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Good. Okay.
Though they won't let you near the stabby things, though.
No, they won't let us do any of that.
No,
she told you she doesn't do weapons.
Robbie and I were actually in. It was the Pfizer this time, so they had to have the 15-minute sit down afterwards. So we were sort of put in charge of them, sort of making sure they sat down and had the 15 minutes before they were allowed to escape.
With Robbie coming around, sweeping their legs out from under them, to make sure they sit down.
Oh yes.
And then we had to sanitise all the chairs after they're done. Oh,
that's like a normal day at Hutton.
Yes. I've got all of that to look forward to next week. I've got a toolkit I've got to take with me of more swabs, sanitizers, sprays, and gloop than I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it looks like the contents of LCU's handbag.
So wiping down one chair, and about 3 other people all go out. Oh, went out then. It's hard to keep track.
Oh yeah.
So hopefully.
Well, it sounds like you've had a busy week anyway. So
and between that, I had a look for the odd plant.
Bit of gardening.
A bit of gardening. I need to start get to gardening.
Clip a few samples, a few cuttings off these plants, and see if you can grow your own. I'm sort of disappointed you can't shoot them a little bit or chop bits off, but yeah.
But
Or I
then I
suppose
wouldn't
you
be
could
able.
hit them with the butt of your rifle a couple of times, or no, you could
I don't
mash
have
them
a
with your
rifle.
well, you could hit them with your scanner.
My scanner, yeah.
Yeah, break a bit off and take it back.
The SRV, I suppose these are the SRV guns.
Yeah, you just drive through a whole field of them and mow it down.
Oh, I couldn't do that.
Not to the cute little space loofers, no.
No.
No. Well, thank you very much. Anything else to add, or are you for the mugging?
That's for the mug.
For the mug?
Yeah, I'm a mug.
And so it's Floss, it's you. It's Floss now
Flossy.
to talk to
Paolo.
It's me now, yes. So I'll see you.
Yeah.
Then how's you been?
Yeah, it's actually been quite a good few days, really. I mean, apart from the enormous balls colliding, we've released a new version of the Canonn plugin, which Commander Saleo has been working on, and it is absolutely lovely. You can effectively lock the planetary information so that you can see everything that's on there. It'll tell you, where all the different sites are. You can click on a site on the planet and it'll bring up a bearing thing, so it can actually direct you to where things are. And we've got lots of new ideas as well for stuff we're going to do. So one of the things I'm really keen on doing is actually when you're on the planet, because I know what's been found on the planet before. What I can do is whatever direction your SRV is pointed, if there's something in that direction, it will display the name of it.
Oh, that'd be useful.
But yeah, it's really good, and might even have solved the mystery of the crashes, because we did have things crashing fairly frequently, which was very annoying. But we think it might be to do with how we're copying stuff to the clipboard, so I'm hoping that will be the end of it.
Oh, great.
But yeah, great stuff, and and obviously really enjoying all the new Odyssey stuff. I'm hoping we've found everything in the first couple of months, but there's something. But as I say, there's 15 different Genesis. Potentially there might be 15 species in each genus, because not every species that we found so far, or not every genus has exactly 15 species in it. So potentially there's a lot of stuff there, but we haven't found it. But it's looking like we found pretty much most of it already.
Oh, brilliant!
But yeah, it's good though. It's lovely stuff.
Yeah, I look forward to seeing that SRV thing. I'm no good with bearings though. But if something shows in the SRV display, that'd be great.
Anyway, that's me done for the mug.
Thank you for the mug.
And Paolo, it's now you to talk to Litho.
Oh, right, Litho, how's your week been?
Hello. Not too bad. I've been enjoying Odyssey, playing around on the ground, making friends with a certain faction that seems to be being dastardly in Barnard's Star. So they now seem to hate me. I mean, I keep wandering in and just picking up loose stuff that's lying around in their one remaining surface base, to tidy up for them. And they don't seem to appreciate it. It's strange. But yeah, other than that, I did a little bit of trading. Got my trade ship out of the storage, and realised as I flew into the port that it was actually a mining ship had picked up, not a trade ship. So yeah, well done. Quick re-equip, and then get on with the community goal. So I managed to get myself a free scanner there, hopefully. That should be fun.
Yeah,
other than that, I've got a question for David. When they were all throwing the pineapples at him, was he standing on a pizza?
That's an unusual pizza delivery method.
Certainly I tried to cheese it quite quickly and that didn't work.
But no, other than that, yeah, I'm one of these strange minority people who's actually really enjoying Odyssey and not having any problems with it at all. So
I think that therein lies the giant fib, as I'm pretty sure they're not in the minority.
Yeah. So obviously I'm doing something wrong. I just don't know what.
Yeah, me too.
But no, it's same old as everybody else. Really, it's it's brilliant. So yeah, for the mug for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Retired Navy.
Here, unmute yourself. Apologise for muting yourself, apology officer.
No, I refuse.
Your refuse, did you say?
Yeah, I've left refuse. So, retired Navy IT1, how's your week been?
It has been rough.
Oh, no.
Trying to figure out the BGS and keeping from being unconscious has been difficult.
Yeah.
But my credit balance has gone from 179 to 65 million, so I'm winning. But it's been rough. I had to bail out of a couple of combat zones because
dear.
my ship wasn't in the shape to continue.
Would you say that was a steep learning curve then?
A little bit.
A learning cliff, shall we say?
Yeah.
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 But you're over the worst of it now.
Yeah. It was upsetting when my Type 10 turned into space dust.
Oh no.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
but the 22 million credit buyback for that thing.
Oh, that's gonna hurt, isn't it?
Yeah, and the rule: don't fly without a rebuy. So I've had to switch to the smaller ships and try to fight with those, and I'm just not very good with them. I love my Type 10, but but no, I've been having a good time. Just been busy with it, and
was that the rest sites or the combat zones?
It's been a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
With the war that we had with Sirius, and and sitting there and taking on the evildoers from the 10th.
Yeah, not the 11th because I can't say that. But yeah, that's the thing. There's plenty to do out there as well, and if you're helping with the BGS stuff, you can see the difference.
Yeah, it does, and I mean, I sit there and I watch it, and when the tick goes, well, that's fine for the tick, but all the systems don't get updated.
Yeah.
Until a human pulls into them or someone does something.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden, voila, the status has changed there.
Yep.
So I sat there and, matter of fact, yesterday or last night or this morning, depending on where you're at and what you're doing, we had 10 systems, like 7 hours after the tick that still hadn't been visited.
Yeah, no visitors
for Hutton. So I sat there and did 7 of those, and a couple other people had hit the other ones.
Yeah.
And things had changed instantly then too. So it's like I said, just trying to fight and follow and figure out the BGS has been nuts. But I've been having a good time.
That's good. And remember as well, if you need a break or you need to make yourself some extra funds, you can always do a quick bit of exploration, a bit of mission running. And there's the CG this week as well. There'll be money related with that as well. So it's a good way to make a bit of quick cash,
Cash is always good.
Yes, cash is king.
Always could sit there and use my. I've got actually I got 3 Type 10s. So I got another Type 10 I can sit there and use and go do some mining.
Yeah.
Just sit there and just watch the little rocks go spinning by.
Nice.
Take a break when needed.
Nice and relaxing.
You, like everybody else does, sit there and watch videos while the laser and the lipids are doing their things.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So there we go. Anything else you've been up to then?
Nope, that's it for me. The mug.
For the mug.
Right, well, thank you very much to those who've joined us in the green room and to the team for this evening. Thank you very much indeed to our special guest as well for coming to join us and telling us all about his big, glowing Rhubarb and Custard balls. So, yes, it was brought to you this evening by Norman on the Decks, by Harry Balsack, by the Apology Officer, by Chicks, by Flossy, by an absent and hopefully getting better soon, Amelia. Amelia, if you hear this, please do get well soon. We miss you.
And by Jove.
Yes.
And by Jove. Yeah, and Flossy, Chicks, Apology Officer, Harry Balsack, Norman, me, will be back Saturday next week.
Saturday, yes. No, if you tune in on Thursday, only to hear a message saying, don't tune in now, you fool, it's Saturday.
Yes, Saturday is the new Thursday. Yes. But yes, and I think Lave Radio are also taking a week off next week as well, so there'll be no Lave and no Hutton Tuesday and Thursday, but there will be a double dose all over Saturday, and as soon as we know, we'll tell everybody all over the forums and Facebook.
Oh, if we get a double dose on Saturday, does that mean we can go travelling?
Oh, yeah, yes, Lave, virtual Lave is on our green list.
Yes, we never said what it was a double dose of, though, did we?
No. Well, the cream's supposed to be working soon.
Yeah.
Yes. Other than that, does anybody else have anything to add?
For the mug?
For the mug.
For the mug!
For the mug!
Advert. Whip it.
Seamless.
For the mug!
For the mug!
Journey too long and no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. Loading up the T-9s to the brim with grain. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. Flossy always seems to crash into the sun. Swivel likes the pilot on the Xbox One. Alvin at the front, you know he leads us well. Trucking across the galaxy, now everybody yell. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. To go cruising to Hutton, whoa, whoa, whoa. No journey too long and no cargo too small. The profit margins never really mattered at all. We're gonna take the cargo where it's needed today. Super cruising all across the Milky Way. We'll take anything, anytime, anywhere. So shout it out loud like you don't even care. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song. For the mug, yeah, you know just where we're coming from. For the mug, now everybody sing the Hutton Trucker song.
We are very, very sorry for all of the mishaps, all of the misbroadcasts, all of the non-broadcasts, and all of the nonsense which has happened at this evening's Hutton News.
I'm Mr. Dusty.
Well, thank you very much. That was excellent.
Give me your trash.